messing with the window, so it's going to look funky, but at least we're live. Okay, so if
So,
somebody will
so
check.
Brenda, you might want to start over to make her editing a little bit easier. Grant, I'm not. Shut the door.
The whole thing?
I mean, I would just start off and be like, "Hey, sorry for the technical difficulties today. We're talking about."
Yeah. Right.
Okay, also, will I still be able to present my screen to demo? Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so our people will have to go back in like a new window, but that's okay. All right, so I'm in. Let's making sure we're live. Yep, we're live. So sorry if you were connecting with us. All right, somebody wants to put on Twitter because we lost all those 50 people. So that's okay. Just put on Twitter to going back. And maybe somebody who was watching that you saw in the chat, maybe they can do it too. So, but we are live. Your beautiful face, Brandy, is up.
Okay. So if we lost you there in our technical difficulties, hey, that's life currently, isn't it, for all of us? I think lots of teachers we're encouraging you to put yourselves out there and put yourselves on camera for your students in the next few weeks. And, well, that's what can go wrong, but it's okay. We're good. Stephanie's going to go ahead and start walking us through the process for how you would, as a classroom teacher or even an administrator, start a Google Meet. And what that's going to let you do is interact with, well, she'll tell you all about it. So Stephanie's going to walk us through.
Okay, do you want me to pull up the presentation too, Brandy?
No, go ahead and just walk through on your screen, I think, and we'll have the presentation.
All right. So you all should see my screen now. Yes, Brandy, do you see your own face?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, we have a couple of different ways that you can set up a meet. The first one would be to go to a calendar. I'm sorry, my calendar is kind of messy and crazy, so excuse that. But in order to set up the meet, I could just click here and set up an calendar event. Say meet. It's going to be today at 2:00. And I would simply select add conferencing. And there I say Hangouts Meet. Immediately, it creates a link for me. So I'm just going to go grab that link and I'm going to copy and paste it. I'm going to say save. I'm going to go over here. I can take that link, pop it right here. And what you'll see is another meet pop up for me. If I want, I could, once I've set that meet up, I can turn off my microphone. I can also turn off my camera. That's, completely up to you. I will say, if you are teaching content to your students, I think they like to see your face. I've had some teachers like, oh, I don't want to, I don't want them to see my face. Well, get ready from here up and show your face, especially with this extended time that we may be gone from one another. It's nice to have that personal connection and kind of personalize. Once I hit join now, then I've now joined a second meet, which is interesting. So I'm meeting on Google Meets, setting up a Google Meet. But anyway, I can click these three dots here. When I click the three dots, I can actually record the meeting. So right now I'm going to hit record. It's going to ask for my consent. And you'll see up here in the upper left corner, it actually is going to start recording this meet. So I'm recording a meet of me teaching you about a meet inside a meet. But anyway, and then once I'm finished, I can go back and I can stop recording. I'm going to stop recording now. And what it'll do, it'll take this meet that I just created. I'm going to go to my drive and I'll see a meets recordings folder. And when I open that, there's one there right now, and the one that I just created will populate in just a minute. So it auto generates a meet recording folder, and it puts that meets recording there for you. So again, I'm going to stop sharing now. It's super easy. The second way would just be to go to meets.google.com and you can set up a meet there. And I actually put that link in our presentation where you can set up a meet that way. Now, it's not defaulted to be able to record currently, so you have to go into your admin settings. But I think, Brandy, are you going to walk through that on the presentation, or would you like me to?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So do you want to present the presentation so that we can kind of walk through it, or do you want me to do that?
I think, Elaine, do you want to do it from?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
All right,
awesome.
so we're gonna start on the presentation. We got it.
All right.
So generally, okay, so with me, it's kind of like I'm doing a video call with somebody, right? And we just talked about how to get that link and set it up and all that stuff. And usually in schools, we're used to this real strict limit of what we can do. Well, right now, any district can go in and apply for it, and we have the link here, and we'll put it in the chat and then on Twitter too. You can get it free for EDU accounts. They will increase the number of people you can get on. So 250 people that you can get into a meet right now, and you can record it right now. What we had to do from the admin console on our side was also open it up for students. Because up until now, it's been that we had it open for staff. So we just flipped the switch. They said we flipped the switch Friday afternoon. They said it could take 24 hours to propagate, or is that the word? Propagate?
Yeah.
It did not. Ours was up, gosh, I would say within about 6 hours, so that students could get it and staff can get it at the 250 people, and you can record it right now. So, I mean, that is, okay, hey kids, we're going to have a Google Meet today at 10 o'clock for physics class. Don't worry if you didn't make it. I'll post the link after, like Stephanie just showed you.
Mm-hmm.
Grab that link later and throw it into Classroom, and your whole lesson is still recorded. So, I mean, it's just kind of magical that we can do that right now, and that Google has opened all that up for us. So the directions are there on that.
Yeah, there's actually, once you go into your admin console, there's actually a little checkbox where you allow it to be recorded. Now, I will say the nice thing, it prompts you and it prompts your students before they join that meeting that's going to be recorded. So that's kind of nice. You know, it lets them know, hey, we're recording. Also, if you're in a meeting and your teacher or administrator starts recording, it'll give you a little notification, you know, so-and-so is recording this meeting. But, you know, again, it is nice, like you mentioned, Brandy, if somebody, if you have a student that can't be there during that time, but they still can have a recording of you delivering that content and sharing your screen and teaching about whatever it is you're going to be teaching or talking about that day.
Yeah, for sure. We have some tips Stephanie and I kind of talked about for teachers on this and during this time. And you said, you know, hey, put on your face, put on a nice shirt and get yourself from the waist up. I think being real is okay right now. We're, you know, uncharted waters. It's fine if I'm sitting in my living room and there's a pile of laundry behind me or my dog starts barking, you know, that's okay. It makes you seem more human, back to that, you know, relationships with our kiddos. I think one of the very first things you're going to have to do is the first time you do one of these, and maybe the first couple times, is show your kids immediately how do they mute their mic, how do they mute their camera. And if you're with us now, or no, sorry, those of us doing the hang up, but you kind of go to the bottom of the screen there and you see that the toolbar pops up and you hover, tell them, hey, this is our expectation. You know, the second that you pop into a meet, I want you to come in with mic on, camera off, you know, mic off, camera off.
Well, and I'm sure we'll put a copy of the slides in the chat. But if you go, Elaine, if you go back one slide, I actually popped up and did a little screenshot of right exactly, you know, it's right at the bottom. It's super easy. And our kids are so tech savvy. I mean, look, they live on FaceTime. So they know how to mute themselves and how to turn their camera off and all that kind of stuff. So, but super easy.
Gosh, you're right. I hadn't thought about that. It is. It's FaceTime. Duh. Why are I not all together yet?
And James, I'm sorry, James Allen in the chat, he kind of popped in and said, you know, good lighting helps. I know we've all been talking about that before we even started. And sometimes that's hard, but if you can reposition, we're doing the best we can. And mic muting, making sure that people know when to speak, when not to, when to turn that on, when to turn that off. I thought that was really nice that he's in there giving those tips right with us.
Awesome. Yeah, I think you're going to have to set expectations the same way you would in the classroom. If this is going to be, like Stephanie said earlier, our new virtual classroom, here's the you know, the expectations. I'm going to give my direct lecture for the next 10 minutes. You're not allowed to turn your mic on. You know, after that, then we'll have a Q&A. However you want to do it. But I think it's okay to set up expectations right now the same way that you would in a classroom.
Yes. That's, you know, that's some instructions I've given my staff and teachers that I've worked with is, set up those expectations. But hey, guess what? If Johnny keeps being disruptive, you just click on his little box and you can exit him right out. Like, I'm going to pop you out of here and we'll talk later. So there's some little management things that you can do inside the meet to kind of alleviate some of those disruptions. But really, let's be honest, for the most part, they're joining that meet to learn, so.
I loved how you said, I loved how you said that they need to see us real. And I think that's going to really make them feel connected, because that culture is king, and for them to make sure that they are not just watching you like in this pristine thing. They need to see that you're human as well. I also wanted to say, I wanted to make sure that you might have already said it, that that Google Meet can be a permanent link. So those kids you don't have to keep pushing that link out and grabbing it and creating a new meeting. Like, this meeting is permanent and I've bookmarked it, and your kids can actually bookmark it too. And then you could even we can call it like a virtual classroom. So if they are working on something outside and they have a question, they could pop in there and ask that question with you. And you would just leave that window up for when you are available during your hours. And then that way they can ask those questions.
Yeah, that's smart, Elaine. I hadn't thought about that.
Well, and I think we included some information about office hours. I think we were back to the tips. I think that was one of them. Let me see here. I'm sorry, I'm pulling up the presentation myself.
And hey, if somebody's on the chat, you can ask. This is what Stephanie and I talked about earlier, thinking about what is it that can we get on and use the Meet for. So we've talked about office hours. We talked about just direct instruction. Oh, faculty meetings and team planning right now. This could also be huge, since we're all, practicing our safe distance. I saw some really, really cool stuff online where people had done like talent shows. So a lot of times when I teach a new tech tool, the first time I teach it, I don't do any content. I just do something fun and something they're comfortable with, So like the first time I do something, I let them talk about their dogs or their cats or their favorites or whatever. So I would say, like, our first meet could be something silly. Show me a picture you've drawn, today, or whatever, your Minecraft or whatever it is that you've done. And that kind of reduces that pressure, right? So the first one's a little social, and then we've all learned our tools and we're ready to use it for instruction. And I know James Allen on the chat's going to have some info on this or some remarks, but I had talked to elementary school teachers who are like, okay, every day at 12, I'm letting my parents know that I'm going to get on and I'm going to do a read aloud. I'm going to do a read aloud and a think aloud the same way that I would in class. That's going to be just for your students, right? We're not going to put that on YouTube. We're not going to make it public to the world. So I don't think we have to worry so much about copyright there. It's, hey, this is me with my class, and this is for the intention of my class. And it would be okay in that circumstance to read that book or to do some sort of activity with them. Got any other ideas, Stephanie, or has anybody got any ideas?
No, we've really been focusing mostly on our middle school, high school students. They're one-to-one. They have devices at home. This is really how they learn a lot at school already. So we've really been focusing heavily on continuing instruction that way with meets for middle school, high school. And, we put the tips in there, but one of the big ones I've encouraged teachers is to do, maybe they flip their instruction. So at first they have a screencastify, maybe they've loaded it to YouTube of, hey, here's my content I'm presenting to you today. Now you're going to have about 20 or 30 minutes to do skill practice. And at 1:30, I'm going to be on the virtual classroom. And if you have any questions, jump on. And kind of let it be like a question answer session, just because, and of course they can do live instruction, but a lot of them had asked questions about students, stopping and interrupting and answering questions. And so I said, hey, if you'll flip your instruction and then use that more as like a help line, tutoring, ask questions, let me give you feedback kind of option, I think that'll be really great for you. And then I think you mentioned faculty meetings. I mean, we've been doing our district staff meetings that way, our central office staff meetings. Our principals have been meeting with their staff that way already, kind of specifically our middle school and high school, and just modeling, hey, here's what you can do with your kids. So
I just had another idea. So this, often when we do this, we worry about interrupting each other. But we always have kind of like a back channel. So there's tons of things that you could use the tools for that back channel conversation. And then you can make sure that those people that, may even have a kid in their lap for those meetings can still get their voices heard, but they don't want to interrupt the main thing. So just making maybe even a back channel for faculty meetings would be beneficial.
What
Yeah,
was
well,
what
and they have a
is
chat
you all
feature, so
recommend?
that's really nice.
Sorry, what is something you all recommend? I know that you're talking about a back channel. If you're watching this and you're thinking, okay, I can watch Randy's video, and now what are we talking about? Back channel. What do you recommend?
Well, for the Google Meets, I prefer the chat that's over on the side, just because it streamlines it in one place. And when I'm running the meet, I can, click over on the side and see all my people who are there. I like to actually scroll through and click on the students or whoever I'm presenting to, because I kind of want to see their faces. Hey, are you with me? I'm really visual, I like to see nonverbals, make sure they're getting it. And then also you can just real quickly and easily pull up the chat. So that's kind of what I prefer, just to streamline it.
Mhm.
But as far as back channeling, do you all have other things you all recommend?
Well, I was just thinking, this is so off the cuff, but maybe even having a like giving not chores, but like when you do a meeting that's a formal meeting where you have a note taker, and then maybe somebody who also can write down questions for higher students, and then that way you can bundle it into a resource for that recorded meeting, and then that way every student can have some supplemental materials for note taking as well. So just thinking on making it better.
You could almost have somebody keeping a running record on a Google Doc and post that as an FAQ. One thing, I don't know if I put it on the slides at all that we're presenting or that are on there, but you can take that recording, and what I have shown my staff how to do is take that meets recording and upload it to YouTube, set it on unlisted, if you don't want, obviously it has students' faces and recordings and, but just pop that over to YouTube, and then now it's one quick link. I have noticed sometimes, depending on the devices, YouTube works on anything. But if you force a download, it's an MP4, and some people may have trouble playing that format. For the most part, not. But anyway, regardless, it seems like YouTube is the no-brainer, that unlisted link, and it's so easy to pop it over. So that's what I've shown our staff how to do. And then it's nice because you have the comments, and you can just pop things in the comments for your kids or your people.
So I'm wondering about special areas. So you've got gym and those type of things. How could we make sure that our general ed teachers for elementary and middle, kind of where they go into those specials, you could kind of pull in a collaborate setting with those, and then maybe have those special teachers co-teach with you as well. And then of course you've got to think of possibly ECE or students with special needs to see if they can get those accommodations. So there's a lot of opportunities in Meet. And then we can move into that. I'm just going to go ahead. James Allen said that adding an agenda to your Meet would be great too, so that the students, like maybe they had to go, something happened, the doorbell rang or something, that they can pick up where that agenda was. That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. That is a great idea. I sent something out to my staff a while back about like how do you set up an online meeting, and I think that was one of the things, was to have an agenda just like you normally would, or have guided notes you're going through, and really almost make that like a really amazing hyperdoc where you link everything that you may talk about or maybe that you demonstrate, and even at the bottom put the link to this meet that you recorded. So it's like literally a one-stop shop for learning target, blah, 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 or whatever it is that you're doing. I did have a question though. You brought up a really good point, Elaine. We currently have trained our staff on how to use Meet for like staff meetings and all that. But like, are you all using this? Did you all turn it on for elementary kids? Because we didn't. We turned it on for middle school, high school only. So I'd be interested to hear what you all did.
We turned it on K-12 for the duration of the NTI days in Hardin County.
Okay.
Well, I know in Nelson County, our elementary students can join Google Meets, and our middle and highs can create. That's how we do it in Nelson County.
Okay, I may look at the admin console settings then for, because having the ability to join but yet not create would be, just put some kind of safety nets in there.
And if you're watching this, this is a good conversation if you're a teacher or if you're you may be an instructional supervisor at the district level to have with your technology office to say, what level are we going down to, and make sure that communication is happening, because that's a definite question you want to ask so that your teachers have access if you all decide to have that at the district.
Well, and the nice thing too, I know that you are going to do episodes on lots of different tools this week. So this is one tool. It's not necessarily the end all be all. And I know you mentioned at the very start, like, why did you choose Meet? And we chose Meet because we're a Google district. We have Chromebooks. We do everything Google. We live by a Google Calendar. Like, it's just how we're used to operating. So, that was one reduced barrier of having to learn a platform, because lots of our teachers are already familiar with it. We host things. Our students, we've done some virtual ESS with Meets before where kids can click on, and we've got an ESS teacher that's available in the evenings. Several different things like that we've already done. So that's why we chose Meet specifically. I know that Zoom is now available free. And so we had toyed with, should we send that out? And of course I have shared it, but it's almost, and I don't know about you guys, but here's kind of how I feel about it. Like, I don't want to give too many, like, let's keep it simple. Here's what we think is best to use. I'm going to train you some more, and then train you even more on it. Just so that it decreases the failure rate. It's like every platform has issues, and if we're focused on this one, though, we can kind of streamline. So for us, that's why we went with Hangouts Meet. That doesn't necessarily mean it's best for everyone. And I know, I can't remember what all you are presenting this week, but like Flipgrid is a great option for elementaries. Post something and let the students respond back. And then we mentioned Zoom, we mentioned Screencastify, tons of tools out there that you can use to do something similar.
Yeah. I think we always say in the ed tech world, it's like trying to drink from a water hose, especially if you are a teacher that is out there right now and you saw this somewhere and you are just now getting into educational technology by force. Unfortunately, don't try to do it all. I think it is smart to pick, okay, I conquered Google Classroom this week because that's how I'm going to do this, or whatever that platform is. Pick one or two, and those are the ones that you want to make friends with first, exact same thing as you. So especially if you're new out there, give yourself permission to just pick one or two tools right now and learn those. Do not be overwhelmed by the plethora of things that are out there.
I want to make sure that the comment that, let's see, who was it? Liz Hartledge from Hardin County. She said that for speech pathologists, they could even use this for speech. So this is awesome, especially the recording, to be able to see. And us in JCPS, that is a skill for the backpack for sure. If I have a speech impediment, I could upload that into my backpack and show a progression of my ability to improve. So these are just it's a tool. It's one of those my favorite things. The tool that just keeps on giving. So it's awesome. Good share.
Yeah. So I am right now, as I know so many of us are feeling, especially empathetic to the parents out there. Those of us who are working from home, and I don't know if you guys heard a big crash against the wall just a second ago, but the Whitlock children, I don't even know what's happening out there. But so I did a video for Google Meet, like from the perspective of parents, because and I've been hopping on Facebook Live every chance I get when I sit down to help my kids, through things, just because, I live and breathe ed tech, but so many of our parents, aren't used to how do you make a shape in Google Slides, or how do you jump on a Google Meet or whatever. So the video that I made is on my YouTube channel, but Elaine can link that up later on the Create playlist so that you guys can share that. I mean, it's definitely Nelson County-ified, but I think it's still semi-functional, because it does speak directly to parents and caregivers, in terms of like, on the opposite side, like helping teachers use the tool, but, our parents also need to know and understand how to get on there and kind of, using it from their perspective. They might not be used to Google accounts. They might not know how to help their kid log in, whatever. There's all those sort of tensions that our parents are facing and exploring at home. So definitely we'll link that up for you guys so you all can have access to it and use it, and share it with any parents that, you might come in contact with that need it.
That is a great suggestion, Brooke, because so many times as educators, we're here to help educators. And I know right now you see it's amazing seeing people connecting with the food and food service programs and the communication. But think about the tech support for your parents. I love that, Brooke. Thank you for being willing to share that. And that's something else. I'm the most competitive person. That's just our nature. But right now, it is not the time for it to be our nature. And I love that districts are willing to share. And if you have trusted resources like the Brooke Whitlow in Nelson County that will share that resource, take it and share it, and let your people know that we're in this together as a state and as a country. I just love the atmosphere, but that type of idea, if you can take that out there, don't let the fact that Nelson County created it or that somewhere across the state, we're in this together, and right now is a great time to show and model that for not just our students, but our parents. So that's a great idea that I had not thought of, Brooke.
Well, and one thing with Google Meet that I like is the app is super user-friendly too. So there's been times where I was in the middle of helping teachers assemble packets, and I was able to just join the Meet for my administrative meeting right there on my phone. Really easy. So I really like that it's cross-platform. I think that's something if our kids aren't standardized with one-to-one, which ours are at the middle school, high school, but again, elementary, if we start pushing even more digital options, they're not standardized. So having something that's really easy to use on, any device makes it nice.
I think everyone has shared so many great ideas, and then even kind of the procedures behind it and the philosophies. We do have just the basic how-to tools. You can watch the bits and pieces of this in the middle, or you can go back to the YouTube video or my video that's in the KY Go Digital, or Brooke's video that we have there for parents. But just for all of you who are, and Stephanie, we thank you so much. You had some great ideas today, and Elaine, and everybody else on the panel. But this is KY Go Digital, and this is what we are and have been, right, ladies, is people across the state of Kentucky coming together and sharing, like Courtney said, and this now more than ever is the time. We're going to be doing episodes throughout the next, 2 weeks we have scheduled, on basic tools that you could use for distance learning in your classroom, because this is the time for us to be connecting with each other and then taking these videos and sharing them out there, whether it's texting it to your teammate or, who's not comfortable with these tools or whatever it is. But now's the time more than ever for KY Go Digital to come together and to share. Tomorrow, we have Stella Pollard and Rosalind Manning, and they're going to be sharing Screencastify and Ed Puzzle. So those are two others. Screencastify is another one that lets you record and then post. And then Ed Puzzle is one that lets you make things a little more interactive, videos a little more interactive. So those are going to be really great to catch tomorrow. And I don't even know what Thursdays is, but there's something scheduled. Keep an eye on the YouTube channel, subscribe to that, and then you'll get notifications. You can set that for notifications so you're constantly knowing, oh, good, those lovely people at KY Go Digital put out another video today, so that you can be learning along with the students over these next few weeks. And then also follow us on Twitter to see what we have going on there. If there's nothing else from the chat, we're probably gonna pop off and be done for today.
I'm just going to add, Brandy, real quick. There are things that we would like to learn from you too. So if you're out there and you have an idea, make sure that you put on the hashtag Kentucky Go Digital, so that we can maybe even get to spotlight you, because we know that together we are brilliant, and if we stick together, we'll be able to learn from one another. So, but yeah, Brandy, I was going to let you know for Thursday, we have Cami for NTIC. specials with Dana's parcel. So,
And that's proof that I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
I have no idea. And so I am so excited. She reached out and is willing to share. So if you are out there and you have a tool that's amazing that we don't know, for sure, reach out and share. And that's what we're here for. So just to piggyback on Elaine.
Dana's mine. I think I recruited her and then forgot that she was on Thursday. Oops. But yeah, it'll be fun. Thanks, Elaine.
You're welcome. Bye, guys. Everybody have a good day.